And welcome back to the Press Star Podcast. I'm your host Vic, aka Mr. Never Chill, and this is episode number 69. And of course, I'm joined by my co-host Lunatic Oblivion.
Nice. Episode 69. We've
Yeah,
already made it 2 years now, and it's been an interesting time so far. But, gaming this week was really cool. Honestly, we had some really cool drops this week. We had Pokemon come out, we had ourselves Warzone 2, Pentiment, just
Pentiment.
a bunch of really good games. What do you say your favorite game of the week was? Because I see you started Plague Tale Requiem here from a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I finally was able to dive in to a Plague Tale Requiem, and I think I completed the first four missions or chapters, I should say, and it's been fun. I can definitely see the struggle that Amicia is dealing with, and just like the whole like she feels so helpless, but she also turned into this like bad motherfucker, and you actually kind of deal with the balance of. I don't necessarily need to kill the guards as opposed to just maybe stunning them and evading them or whatever it is. Like even the person, Lucas, who is with you most of the time so far in the game, he's just like, hey, how about you not kill them? How about you just
How about you not murder
yeah,
hobo everyone?
yeah. Don't kill everyone because I was going on a rampage. I was like, I'm killing everybody I can. Fuck them. Like I was with her with like the hate and stuff like that because they are like tyrants more or less. So I was just like, I'm trying to take them down myself personally. I just felt the hate from them. But yeah, overall, I'm really enjoying it. I see why it's in running for Game of the Year. It's just it's going up against two mega like monolithic giants of Elden Ring and God of War, so it's not going to have a chance in that regards. But I think it's a solid game so
Yeah,
far.
definitely. I gotta talk about that. Forgot to even put that on my list here.
How dare you?
Like, I so many freaking games, dude. I have so little time to play stuff. I've been playing Call of Duty, Valorant, the new Pokemon game. I picked up Dune's Spice Wars and was like, "Oh God, this is way better than I thought it was gonna be." I
Yeah,
even tried to find time for God of War as well. I literally do not have the time of day anymore to play all these great games.
yeah. There's so many out, dude, and like we just had Somerville released last week, and I told you that I'm really excited for that. I see that you pick up. You started Pentiment already. What's your thoughts on that game so far?
I don't like it.
You don't like it? I'm
Yeah,
surprised. I would
it
have thought this would have been your
honestly,
kind of game.
honestly, it just there's too much dialogue at some points, and it's just it. I don't feel like I can get into the game yet.
Mind you, your stream you were playing Hateful Boyfriend or whatever shit
Yeah,
was.
okay, listen here. Somebody requested that game, so I played it per viewer request. They paid the bits, they got the game,
Yeah.
okay? But no, I Hatoful was only an hour long, but like Pentiment, I got like an hour and a half, 2 hours into the game, and I'm like, God, it's such a slog. I didn't like the characters, I didn't find the enjoyment so far. It's gonna be a really good, I think, a really good story game. But the problem is I just don't feel drawn into the story. It's like reading a book that just takes, half the book to start the story.
Right, right. Um, yeah, I'm excited to give it a try. It does seem a little bit different for a type of game for me, but just I mean, it's coming from Obsidian Entertainment and Josh Schreier, one of the best developers of all, or lead developers of all time. Like he helped make Fallout New Vegas. So I just want to see
Mhm.
what kind of work he can put into it. And I'm looking it up here on howlongtobeat.com, and it looks like it could take 12 to 17 hours to beat this game. And if all you're doing is reading a whole bunch of dialogue or just words, that seems like a very long, long
It's
game
just a
of
book.
reading.
It's
Yeah,
it's a visual novel, is what it is. It's a westernized visual novel.
yeah, and they called it an RPG. is it? Is there much
Well, I
RPG mechanics to it that are standing out to you?
Yeah, you get to decide your character and how they kind of are, but I think the biggest thing is it really does definitely feel like a visual novel, and like even a visual novel is still an RPG. So it just you're playing a role in the game, it's story, but that's all it is. And
Yeah,
it just doesn't feel amazing. It is not a traditional visual novel because you do have to explore and move around. You have a map, things like that, but it's kind of a click and it's pretty much a click adventure.
yeah. That's interesting because the game's reviewing really well and it's being criticized really well. So I guess it's a game that's not meant for everyone, and I'm actually really surprised that it's a game that's not sticking with you because I feel like it would have been.
Yeah, I honestly, I just it felt like it took too long to get started, and I just can't find myself getting into it.
Right, right. Another thing that both of us actually hopped in this week was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Spec Ops. We did play through the four missions that are available. The game released with three, and then obviously with season one, it brought another one. What was your take on the Spec Ops journey that we went on? It was kind of
A
crazy.
little confusing at first because I was like, all right, so what's going on? There's all these objectives. I feel like they're going to be a lot of replay value every week to try and go back and get your stars and then try to also make sure you get all 10 intel and just all that stuff. It's fun, but it just honestly I wish they would expand more on the game mode where you essentially fight the waves of enemies. That was the
The
best
survival
Spec
part,
Ops
yeah.
mission to me. That was so much fun. I honestly would love a game like that because it felt like zombies, but the next iteration of like a Call of Duty zombie style game. It just felt good. It felt smooth. That purchasing your upgrades, something like that would be awesome if you had like a squad of like four people instead of two, and you
Yeah.
guys are all working together to hold these objectives, and like hundreds of guys are attacking. Like it felt really fucking fun.
Yeah, it was definitely difficult. Like you had to bounce back and forth between a bunch of sites, and interesting enough, like survival used to be a mode in a lot of Infinity Ward's games that just didn't really catch so well, and that's probably why we don't see like a full blown game mode
Yeah.
based off of this anymore. Because like they used to
But
do like survival on every single multiplayer map, but now it's
mhm.
just they don't do it.
Yeah, I what's really cool though is I like where this one is going because of the whole being able to buy things and
Hmm.
just it feels more like a tower defense, but also like I think it's a really good setup for what we're going to later see as the raids.
Right.
Because like this felt so good.
Yeah, I'm eager to see how all of the Spec Ops stuff plays into the raid. Like, do you have to play through a certain amount of Spec Ops to get a certain amount of stars to even play the raid, or like how is it? How is there any connection to it and like how it builds up to it?
Mhm.
So
Or is it
that
just a whole new game mode?
right, like DMZ, which we have not dove into yet, but it's basically no one's really enjoying it, and the fact that that gun is locked behind, you have to play that game mode and go in there and kill the chemist, and then you got to grab his gun, which is the gun that you are trying to unlock, and then exfil with it. But if you're in there with a squad of three people or whatever it is, three or four, only you get it, not your entire team who exfils with you, which
So
sucks.
everyone has to do it.
Right. So, but there is a workaround right now where like that person who exfils with it first, just load into the game with that same exact blueprint, and then drop it immediately. Have your teammates pick it up, and then go exfil right away. But it's like, why do I have to do that? Like, if the whole team
Yeah, why
has
didn't
is
we just
there,
all get it?
yeah, we should all just get it because we all had to kill the chemist. Because the chemist is really hard to kill. Like, because you have to get like a durable gas mask. Like you're in a like this like gas zone where you can't even like breathe without a mask. Like the he's really hard to take down. Like he's a juggernaut almost. So it's like really difficult. And on top of that, you're playing against other real life players, not just
Who also
AIs.
want the chemist?
Who also want the chemist. So it's like it's really difficult to even get to begin with. So why not just if one team exfils with it, everybody on that team gets it. Like that's just a
Yeah,
no
no.
brainer.
I really am excited to try out this game mode, and I gotta say one thing. I am pretty happy with how Call of Duty came out this year. Like I don't feel like I wasted the money, and even paying the $100 now to get the Vault Edition a little later,
Yeah.
it I felt worth it. Like I have, and you know me, and everyone in the podcast here knows me. I was the biggest critic of Call of Duty, and I'm like, you gotta come with something better than what we've been getting. Like
Yeah.
we keep getting these crappy remakes. But then I play this game and I was like, everything just feels right. I
Yeah.
don't even care. Like we have Valorant style arena shooters, we have the classic CS:GO style shooters. We have different takes on that game mode. We have our classic COD arena shooter where everyone's running around shooting each other in the face, respawn, die, respawn.
Hmm.
It's awesome. Then we've got Battlefield style game modes which feel fun. That's
That's
just
better than
big,
Battlefield.
huge over 30 people versus 30 people, just big ass games, feels really fun. And then we've got ourselves just the campaign, which, Battlefield's missing that. It
Uh huh.
has the same thing but worse.
Yeah.
Then we've got, we've just got the spec op missions. We're getting raids. It feels like they're taking everything from every other shooter game lately and just saying, "Hey, we can do this too. You're not special, and we did it just as good in the same game." Now you've got 20 games in
Yeah.
one actual game. I I'm actually blown away with Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited to keep playing it, especially because this game's gonna have to be around for the next 2 years.
Hmm.
But they gotta fix a lot of the issues that are going on right now.
Oh
Like
yeah.
not being able to play a game with friends right now is horrible. Like last night, we were lucky to get four of us in there and into playing a game, but we were over here like, please work, please, like, cause it's just so unstable right now.
Hmm.
Where like playing solo, there's no issues. You just join in a game and there's no issues. So
You're playing.
there's
Yeah.
definitely an issue there, but there's some conspiracy going around that PlayStation may have caused the paid for this in a way because it's only happening to Xbox players. Like if you were a PC player and you joined an Xbox person, you're going to have the issue. If you're a PlayStation person, you're fine. So it's just like,
It's a
what's
little
going on?
tinfoil hatty to me, but I do get what you're going for there. You're like, oh, why isn't it happening to PlayStation? All this
Yeah,
Microsoft buying. It feels a little tinfoil hatty, but I could see that. It does feel maybe that Activision Blizzard kind of gave them the bad treatment.
hmm
Maybe there was money involved, but it's it's a little far-fetched to say that happened.
right, right. But another game here on your list that I wanted just to talk about real quick. We're gonna dive a little bit more in depth into it a little bit on here. Is Pokemon Scarlet Violet? Scarlet Violet just released. What's your first impression so far with the game?
Okay, so you probably were watching us talk in the Lunacy Arch channel today, I assume.
A little bit here and there,
Jordan
yeah.
and I were both a part of that conversation as well. And I'll be honest, the game is really it's good. I'm gonna say haters can hate. If you unhappy with the selection of Pokemon, I'm sorry, but like it's got over 400 Pokemon in it. Like there are so many Pokemon that they chose to include in the game. And like I get there may be some that are your favorites that you can't get. Oh well. That's like the biggest criticism I have. Secondly, yeah, the frame rate's a little rough at times, but like the game itself, the whole game is a wild zone now. So everything you do is out in the open. This is the Pokemon game fans have been asking for, since Pokemon started, big open world style games where you
Right.
can literally walk up to a Pokemon in the wild and a fight starts right there. No scene transitions, no black screens. Dun, dun.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist anymore. It
Oh
is
man,
you walk
I
up,
want
the
that
fight
though.
starts. You walk up to a trainer, the fight starts. It just feels right lately. And like, oh well, there's not a bunch of indoor areas, but there are like caves, caverns, all these different places to explore. There are Pokemon hidden throughout the game that like only spawn in certain caves and you have to go find that cave or there's paths leading all around the map. Then there is 18 badges to collect, and one of them for each type of Pokemon. So, like, you've got fire, water, electric, ground, you've
hmm
got steel, fighting. Every type that is in the game, there is a badge to play against it.
That's pretty cool. Good. That
Yeah.
that's definitely different than the normal 8 badge that you would have to go get.
And they would, select the same kind of 8 trainers over
hmm
and over and over again. Oh, we've got another ghost gym. Woo. Now you have one of the 18 places, yes, is ghost. But now we have things like there's a steel gym, there's
Nefarious
an
Gym.
electric gym, there's a bad guy who specializes in using dark Pokemon. And like the gyms feel a little reductive compared to what they were back in the day,
Yeah.
but they are mixing it up a little bit. So it's sometimes a gym is literally you just walk up and fight the gym leader. Other times they're like, oh, you got to go outside and do this silly mini game. Okay, whatever. But then there are other moments like you don't even have to farm with your Pokemon anymore if you truly don't want to sit there and keep jumping into combat and farm. And like, I get the haters who are going to be like, back in my day, I had to sit there and farm for
Yeah.
30 hours against Machokes in this cavern to EV train my Pokemon. I don't fucking care about that anymore.
Right.
Okay, this isn't meant to be a sweaty game. It's meant to be fun.
Right. Right. But yeah, man, that's all of our games that I think we should talk about that we've been playing. But what are some games that are coming out this week that we
Ugh.
could be looking forward to?
So we really only have one game, in my opinion, that's
I
really
agree.
seems interesting. And it's definitely Just Dance. I'm just kidding. It is not. It is Evil West. Evil West is a game this week coming out that looks really good, actually. It is going to be pretty violent. It's made by
Flying Wild
Flying Hog, yeah,
Wild Hog.
Flying Wild Hog, and published by Focus Home Interactive. Looks really interesting. It's sort of that mage punk Western style game.
Hmm.
It is it it also I think does it feature Danny Trejo as well? Trejo?
Uh,
I believe he also
Maybe.
like either voiced or did something for it, which was quite interesting as well to see. But the game is a shooter game. It's not top down. Like lately, we've been getting these top down style games, but this one looks like yeah, it's gonna be a first person shooter going through these sort of wild west with
Yeah,
mage
it looks
punk
like they
and
had a
technology.
trailer that was voiced by him and like showcased, and
Ah,
he was throwing shade on loot boxes and season passes and stuff.
yeah.
But
But yeah, this is
Evil
and it's
West looks
not a
interesting.
first person shooter though. I do apologize. It is a
Third
third
person.
person, so
Yeah.
behind the shoulder. But it looks really good.
Yeah, this game looks interesting, and it's just like, I don't know, man. I just feel like there's been like a lot of Wild West type of games as of lately, and I'm just like, meh. Like,
That's fair.
what was
But I think a
other?
lot of them.
Was it Weird West? Is the other one that we
Hmm.
just played, and I was just like, don't feel it. Red Dead Redemption 2, that's okay. Evil West. I mean, that's probably the only one on this list that I'm excited for to check out eventually, but it's not a game that I'm like, yes, I can't wait to play it. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, it feels like lately we've got this sort of weird wild west feeling. The sort of like steampunk meets magecraft meets like the supernatural. We've been getting that a lot lately, but this one looks pretty cool. And like you're a vampire slayer as well in
Hmm.
the Wild West. So you're pretty much going around, slaying everything that is that lurks in the night. So we've got things like boohags, naggles, lechers, and highborns, which are gargoyle style creatures,
Hmm.
Cthulian tentacle monsters, werewolves, and like zombie wretches. So it looks pretty interesting.
Yeah. Another game, obviously, that a lot of people are usually excited for are the Just Dance games. I know that's one of the games that I buy for Lauren. She's not much of a gamer, but she does enjoy her Just Dance. It's one of those party games that just gets people together, even those
Moving.
who, yeah, moving, like, no pun intended there in regards to that, but it's just like, it's cool to see non-gamers to be able to enjoy a game like that, and the fact that, like, you no longer have to hold a controller or anything in your hands anymore, you kind of just fucking dance.
Dance.
Yeah, it's like it's pretty dope. Like usually you just have your phone sometimes, like because you can remote join like with your phone, and then play that way too. So like it's different, definitely different. But there is like a smaller game here on the list called Ship of Fools coming out. This one seems interesting. Like it looks like a classic style game.
And it's co-op.
Interesting. I'm looking at the little trailer here real quick. Embark on a journey. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cooperative roguelike, which looks interesting to me. You're gonna pretty much be able to. It's gonna be, um, it's so you have a ship, and a lot of your combat is the ship-based combat where you're shooting off the top and bottom side of your ship as you're traveling along to get through each of these sort of zones. You have a hex grid that you're working to get through
Yeah.
while also, trying to survive. And each time you move forward, you get different events or different fights. And it looks like you can't go backwards, but only forwards. And then, you're trying to get through a roguelike system.
And there's only one other game coming out this week, man, and it's called
Yeah, with four games.
Gungrave Gore. Um, Not much to really say about this one here, other than I know it's coming to Game Pass day one. This is just
It's
like
a
a
JRPG. It's going to be third person. It is sort of a action fighting, Devil May Cry style looking game.
yeah,
Um, and it kind of reminds me of like Trigun or things like that are these sort of classic JRPG or like Japanese sort of shoot 'em ups. They've got a lot of what looks like cross iconography, so maybe it's something about it's going to be something religious based, like founded in sort of a religious backdrop. But it looks like you're supposed to pretty much just arcade style shooter. You're going
Yeah.
through and you're just trying to rack up combos.
Yeah, as you can see here on the screen, I threw up a trailer or 9 minutes of gameplay that we're not gonna watch the entirety of, but it just seems pretty hectic and seems like you're like a very overpowered soldier of some sorts. Like you're taking massive amounts of damage. You're just like blowing through these
Yeah,
guys.
whatever.
Seems interesting. It almost reminds me of like Scarlet Nexus, a recent JRPG that I know Marshmallow played, and that's also on Game Pass. But that's pretty cool though to see some more JRPGs coming to the Xbox platform.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna see a lot more of that. That's sort of bringing East meets West.
Yeah, and Microsoft is leading the way on that for sure.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, but
All
that's
right.
enough of our game releases, Roger. If you want to lead us off into our industry news, someone's actually
Yeah,
pretty
sure.
interesting here with the first one.
So, the creator of Sonic, Yuji Naka, was arrested this week, because he got caught doing insider trading in the gaming industry. There was an investigation at Square Enix about insider trading, and it found out that the co-creator of the new Sonic game, which isn't a meme somehow, the Sonic game is really good and reviewing well,
Yeah,
better
interesting.
than like a bunch of other games. But the co-creator is now in jail.
Yeah, so some of the statistics that I was doing a little research into, apparently he purchased 10,000 shares in aiming to the tune of 2.8 million. This is it would be yen, so $20,000 prior to Dragon Quest tax public announcement. So like he was basically hoping that because of this upcoming announcement, the shares were going to rise. So then he went out and just purchased stocks in hope to make a ton of money.
Yeah, but and that's 100% insider trading is
Yeah,
knowing what's coming and then reinvesting in another company. So he got news from like it would be one thing if he worked at Square Enix,
yeah.
but he doesn't. So he got no, knowledge from somebody working at Square Enix, bought some shares. That's by definition
Right,
the worst
and
thing
the
you
thing
could
is,
do.
he wasn't the only one that did this. Other Square Enix employees were arrested also. Tasuki Sasaki and Fumuki Suzuki are arrested on November 17th, so just a couple of days ago, on charges of insider trading as well. They purchased a combined of 162,000 shares, so this was a much larger sum here. For the same reasoning before Dragon Quest tax announcement, so they were just like, yeah, we can't be doing that, guys. What are you doing? But yeah, that was some pretty crazy news that broke, especially because like he was the co-creator of Sonic, and then Sonic Frontiers just came out, and that's actually
Hmm.
been like you said, reviewing really well, surprisingly, even though with its very lackluster combat. And Sonic moves too quickly, interesting enough, because the game can't load in objects fast enough to keep up with him. So you end up just running into him, and you're just like running
Uh,
in place. You're like, "What the fuck?" And then it like
and
loads
then
in,
all of
and
a sudden it comes in.
you're like, "Fuck, okay." It makes sense. But yeah, that was pretty crazy. But some other news, of course, we got our Activision Blizzard news every week, guys. And this one's actually interesting because it's in regards to China and has nothing to do with the the
Crazy.
buyout from Microsoft. Overwatch, Diablo, and a couple other games will soon be unplayable in China, effectively starting on January 23rd of next year, due to a failed new agreement that was not established with the Chinese tech giant NetEase, which we talk about them all the time, because they published the Activision Blizzard games over in China, and because their new agreement failed, never they couldn't meet up with a new one. They were like, "Yep, sorry, no more games," and
Bye
that's
bye.
crazy though.
I'm surprised that Activision Blizzard upset Big Daddy China because like they lick their feet. Like I'll be honest, dude.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we talk about it all
That's
the time because they have like a large proportion of the mobile market from China,
hmm
and they're gonna lose out on a
Call of
bunch of
Duty
that.
Mobile.
Or Diablo Immortal. So
Exactly. They're these phone games that the Chinese economy pumps billions with a B into it.
yeah, I wonder if once if and when Microsoft's deal goes through that they can revisit this agreement and get something in place that they can bring those games back to China.
Hmm. Maybe.
Because Phil Spencer does a really good job of going over to China and Japan and talking with all the lead executives over there. So I'm sure he has some kind of good connection with them.
We'll see what happens. But let's talk about PlayStation for a minute here. PlayStation has blocked Call of Duty from joining Game Pass with current contract already established. So we may have been able to see something like Call of Duty hit Game Pass, but we won't be able to because PlayStation has it in their contract that it won't be allowed.
Right. Yeah. This all came out with some more digging into the contracts that were already established for with PlayStation, Activision, Blizzard, and that was part of the deal. Is hey, you're not allowed to put this game on Game Pass until our contract is up. So that's something that they still have to honor, even if they do buy out. But once that goes through, that I'm pretty sure this is all lining up with what Microsoft is saying. Like, hey, we'll keep PlayStation on like 3 more years, 4 more years,
We
like
have
however
to,
long. Yeah,
but as soon as the contract's over, fuck you.
yeah, because you're over here
Yeah.
like blocking the shit out of us. Because you imagine if they put like I think PlayStation that's really PlayStation's biggest concern is if it goes on Game Pass. It's not even about exclusivity. If I can get
Yeah,
Call of Duty on PlayStation for $70 or get it for $15 a month with through Game Pass, which one am I going to go towards? I'm gonna go get it on
exactly.
Xbox. It just makes sense.
I'm gonna get it on PC for free. I'm
Right.
already paying for Game Pass. Why would I pay for, for it on a PlayStation 4 or 5?
Right. So it's a no-brainer there. But in regards to Call of Duty, this one was pretty crazy to see. Virgin Media, which is like an internet provider over in the UK, if I'm not mistaken, they reported that Warzone 2 generated its busiest day on record for gaming. Basically, they saw a network traffic increase of 33%, and Warzone 2 had an increase of 76% network activity at launch compared to Warzone 1's release, and that is insane because Warzone 1 was a pretty big launch,
hmm
and Warzone
And
2
and that's
blew it
and
out of the
that's
water.
that's just such an astronomically large number. And I'll be honest, playing Warzone 2 been super fun.
Yeah, it's been enjoyable. It's just I'm not much of a Warzone player. I'm just trying to grind as much as I can into multiplayer. But I'd tell you what, that chat, the proximity chat, is perfect for content, dude. Like it's all over TikTok and Twitter. My boys over at Shoot to Win are just going in there, just doing some crazy shit, trying to like swindle guys. They're like, "Hey, join us," and then like turn on them and shit like that. It's just like, what the fuck? You like if you
You ain't
haven't checked it out,
catching
you
me
got to look at it.
trusting anyone.
Right. Well,
I had
then
that proxy.
did you try the
Go ahead.
unhinged mode yet? The unhinged
No.
trios. So you join. It's a trio game mode of battle royale, and it's unhinged because you can request another team to join you. So then you can have six of you guys on one squad going around and fucking shit up. But like you have to like be able to like agree to that and whatnot. I think you can still turn on them if you want to, but like they'll still be marked as good guys, but you can still kill them. So it's a very interesting take, and it's been like the best thing about Battle Royale, the Warzone 2 so far that everyone's really been enjoying. But that's all of our industry news. We got a decent amount of gaming news that we can cover. It's a definitely short week regardless. But Roger, if you want to kick it off here with we got NC Soft had an announcement.
Yeah, so NCSoft has announced a new project. It's going to be an MMO, sci-fi with alternate history. It's going to be open world. It's a third-person shooter MMO, so quite interesting. It's going to be called Project LLL for now, or Triple L.
Yeah,
So we have no more information other than what the genre is, but hopefully we'll get some more out of them here soon. But NC Soft is a pretty big company we're talking about here.
hmm
They made some interesting MMOs. We talked about it last week. We have things like Guild Wars, Blade and Soul. So, these are some big MMOs that have, has taken a lot of the community. Guild Wars 2 being one of the biggest ones people talk about next to WoW.
right. And it like you said, we talked about it. I think it was last week that NC Soft was also potentially still working on that MMO RPG for the Horizon series as well. So maybe they got two games in the works, Project LLL and whatever Horizon game they got going on. So that'll be interesting to see there. But Embracer Group had some interesting news this week. They had two different things here. Basically, Volition, who was the developer behind the Saints Row reboot, has been merged with Gearbox Entertainment. Basically, just shoved them into Gearbox, saying, "Hey, you guys failed epically with your reboot here, and we didn't like it.
You're
So
done.
yeah, you're not making any new games. You're just going to join Gearbox and support them." So that was interesting. But the next one here that kind of surprised me, and I know a lot of the guys over at Lunacy Arts, like Marshmallow, was talking about it. But Risk of Rain IP was fully acquired by Gearbox. because this game was actually previously just published by Gearbox, but developed by Hopo Games. But now it's fully developed and published by Gearbox now, and hopefully
Yeah,
that's not a bad thing.
I'm actually quite surprised by the whole thing because Hoopu Games has only ever made three games, and that's Deadbolt, Risk of Rain, and Risk of Rain 2. And for them to give up one of their, their such an integral game to who they are
Hmm.
is interesting to me because it was a four-person studio, which is just insane. And only one of the four people was only in the music part of the game. So it it was actually I was quite surprised. I'm wondering where they're gonna go, or if maybe they're gonna become acquired by Gearbox and Embracer Group.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I do wonder if they're actually going to do like a full-on purchase of the entire studio, as opposed to just the IP. You know.
Hmm.
So we'll definitely see how that plays out. I'm pretty sure that next year is going to be interesting with a whole bunch of more acquisitions.
Yeah, and talking about next year here, we got a big thing that kind of came as not a surprise, I guess. Yeah, I kind of expected when I saw it. Dead Island 2 got its date pushed back again. We're
Mhm.
talking like a few months, two, three. Dead Island 2 is now delayed until April of 2023, which is surprisingly like it's surprisingly far away. Like now we're talking another 6 months pretty much
Yeah,
from today. It was gonna be what, February, I think, originally?
I think yeah, either January or February. But it's just crazy. Like this game was already written with like an 8-year developmental uh, cycle, and it new developers, excuse me, and then like it got delayed once already, and now it's getting delayed again. It's just like, are we going to see this game?
Yeah, it
I
got
thought we were
delayed to
good.
February 3rd, and now it's April 28th. So we're almost like it's almost May when we're gonna get this game now. So I'm quite surprised, but maybe it's for the best. Hopefully they can get the game polished and done because we don't want another, we don't want
Cyberpunk.
another like Cyberpunk style game. And talking about Cyberpunk here, we've got news from CD Projekt Red. The Witcher 3 next gen update is coming out. So if you want to see Witcher 3 with new increased fidelity, better graphics, better gameplay, comes out December 14th. And if you already own The Witcher 3, you just get this update for free.
Yeah, and that's awesome to see that you're getting the next gen version of this game for free. And
It's just a free
I have it on
DLC.
disc over here behind me, and it's actually a game I've never played, and I think this will be the chance that I can give it a try, whether it's
It
December
was an
or next
amazing
year.
game.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it
definitely
was
a
a
game I missed out.
seriously good game.
Yeah, I mean it was a
And
once in a generation game. Like it was that big, and then like the
yeah.
DLC that came after it was just like it felt like its own game for the DLC
Hmm.
is what I heard, and it's just like that's what's building up the hype behind the Phantom Liberty DLC, which as you can see here on our notes here is going to be a paid expansion. They had to reiterate and confirm that for people because I guess some people were thinking it was going to be free, but they were like, no, no, no.
No, this is a full-on story. This is a whole new expansion, like Blood and Wine or what, The
Hmm.
Witcher 3 DLCs. This is going to be new. It's going to add content and is going to make the game longer.
Right, and there's been some reports around the pricing. They were like, it could be a $20, 30, 60, and like what to you, what would determine the pricing factor for you, Roger?
The quality of gameplay. I paid $60 for the original game. You got to give me a game that is the exact same size and depth for me to pay $60 for something like a new expansion or a DLC. Because that's a brand new game. Let's
Yeah,
be honest here. We were talking about how Call of Duty is thinking about making you pay the full price again next year because they have to make each game last 2 years now.
yeah,
For me to have to pay $60 for added content to a base game, if it's more than $20, you better be coming up front. Like $15 is like a minor expansion to me. I'm fine with paying that.
hmm
$30, that better be like a brand new story, half the length of the game itself. $60, I better be getting a brand new fucking game. Everything from the ground up, new. I want
a whole new
more.
city,
Because
another planet, maybe.
we have to deal with maybe they completely redefine parts of the city or whole mechanics across the city. Like it has to be big. It
Yeah,
can't be just some minor, here's a quest that's about 10 hours long.
Right, right. Yeah, that'd be kind of minor. And I mean, but in a sense, it's almost half of the original game if it's about 10 hours.
hmm
Because
But
it took
then
about
again,
20
that's
to.
if you just do the story.
Right,
The original game also included all that DLC. It took me like 30, 40 hours to do all the DLC, or not DLC, all the side quests and then the main quest, and still have content left over that I was like, nah, I'm good.
right, right. So I'm really eager to see where this price falls on this DLC because this might be a DLC that I actually return for because CD Projekt Red has done phenomenal with their DLCs from previous games. So I'm really eager to check out both The Witcher 3 finally and then also Cyberpunk the Phantom Liberty DLC. But Roger, what's going on over there in the Elden Ring world?
So Elden Ring has now surpassed the Dark Souls 3 and Sekiro combined sales. Elden Ring has sold more than 17.5 million copies. That is an M million.
Yep,
That is $600 million they've made.
that's
Over 600 million.
that's disgusting. And the fact that it's not even been out 1 year yet, one full year has not been
hmm
out for one full year. And it's already putting up numbers like this, and it blows my mind because I thought Dark Souls 3 and Sekiro was two big games, but I guess it has nothing in comparative Elden Ring and how much that game really means to the world, the gaming industry.
hmm Yeah, Elden Ring was a really interesting redesign of the Dark Souls franchise. And honestly, I'm excited to see what the next installment is because it left an impression on me with how good it was. We're talking a game that's like over 20, 30 hours of long to really get some of the full content you want out of the game. And even then, you only had to beat two of the eight bosses or whatever. So
Hmm.
like these open world games that essentially give you the choice of what you want to do, and then they're like, you only have to do so much. It's really cool.
Yeah, and I just love like even the character customization. Like you can make whoever you wanted in that game, honestly, which was
hmm
a pretty cool feature, and it just generated a lot of content on all social medias and YouTube and stuff like that as well.
Somebody made handsome Squidward as their character. I about lost it, dude. I was like,
That's
no
pretty dope.
freaking way. So Vic, what's going on with multiverses?
Multiverses, man, season two is coming out or already came out. I cannot remember the date for that one, but the new character coming, Marvin the Martian, the classic cartoon character, and then also a new map. And there's no specific name for this map. It's a map basically from the Game of War or Game of Thrones universe. So that'll be pretty interesting there. But also in season two, there will be network and latency improvements, which I think is really important for a fighter game.
Fix netcode. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you're gonna have a netcode style game, fix your netcode.
right.
Like
That's
it's
a
one
little
of
bit
the issues
important.
why it's like one of the issues why Smash was so bad in the beginning is because the netcode couldn't handle Wi-Fi,
Mm,
so it was unplayable online. So you had to only play with friends in person until they really cleaned it up.
yeah. So that's pretty cool to see. And but something else in the I guess animated universe of Pokemon. We kind of touched on this a little bit ago, but what was going on with Scarlet and Violet this week?
So I talked about it earlier that the game is a little choppy here. We're getting serious performance issues from the game. So that is one of the biggest criticisms of this game that the community has is it's running like 20 frames at best sometimes.
That's pretty rough. And I don't know if you saw in the Discord channel when I throw these articles in, but I was just like, is it time for a new Switch question mark? Like is the Switch just
Yeah.
not capable of running these quote unquote next gen style games? Because to be honest, this is like
Yeah.
a legit next gen style game that would push the boundaries on like a PlayStation 5 or the Xbox series.
Like they could there was so much that they had to do to make it run on the Switch that I'm like, yeah, I can really see what the issue is here. Like when you posted it, all I got was, are we ready for the next Switch? And I literally, that's all I had on the notification on my phone. And I go, he's probably posting something about Scarlet and Violet right now. He's literally probably posting about it because I was in the midst of playing Pokemon with Disney and we were like, this game is rough at times. It like don't get me wrong, it's super fun. The fact that the whole game is co-op. Like
Yeah.
Jordan and I have been side by side running through the whole game for the most part.
Yeah, that's
And it's
pretty
just
dope.
so much fun.
Yeah, so it seems like all of the ideas are there for Pokemon and what we always wanted in a Pokemon game, but it's on a platform that seems to be outdated. which sucks to
Yeah,
hear. Like, is it
honestly,
time for the Switch Pro? Is it time for that
like
Switch Pro?
yeah, and it definitely is. That's the thing. Like we have things like the Stream Deck at this point, or the Steam Deck, and like it's just so good. The Steam Deck is blowing the Switch out of the water when it comes to
Hmm.
performance. And it's yeah, it's a little more expensive, almost twice the price, but like is that what we need for the next Switch? Do we really need to actually give us the content we need and then allow you to dumb down your game?
Yeah, maybe. And in regards to this though, is it having the issues on the original Switch and the OLED Switch, or is it just
I
one
haven't
versus the
checked it
other?
on the OLED.
Yeah, so I'm really curious to see if it's running smoother, I guess, on the OLED as opposed to the original Switch, which most people have. A lot of people would probably, I guarantee there's like a pretty different number of users between the Switch consoles. But yeah, man, if we want to move on here, we got some Tom Clancy and Ubisoft news in regards to two of their IPs.
Okay. So Tom Clancy and Ubisoft. So Rainbow Six Siege has started year 7, season 4. So we've already gotten 7 years out of Rainbow Six Siege. Like it's pretty crazy. And so we're going to be entering Operation Solar Raid. It's going to be one of the biggest seasons yet with a new map, updates, features, and a new defender from Colombia. More information will be coming out soon for this character, but attackers will have to pay close attention to their electronic gadgets because she has essentially an EMP sort of disruption style
Hmm.
effect.
Yeah, that's crazy though. 7 years, like that shit's crazy, dude.
7.
Like it just blows my mind that they didn't even think about doing like a Rainbow Six Siege 2 or whatever stupid shit they want to come up with. They were like, nah, we're gonna stick with the same game. We're gonna support it for
Yeah,
7 years, and that's just incredible. It's an incredible
almost
feat.
8 now. And
Yeah.
it's like, and it had such one of the roughest launches for a shooter game ever. Like it was nigh unplayable for the beginning of its life, and then it had such a big redemption arc that very few games have, and now they've lasted 7 years because of it.
Yeah, and it's also getting a interesting crossover too with
Similar
with
with
with Nier.
Nier. Yeah,
And
they're
it,
getting a Nier crossover, and I
yeah,
was like, when I read that, I was like, what?
is this real?
Who?
And the thing is, it's
Yeah.
the Maverick bundle, so you get to play as like the older version of Nier from the guy from Nier Replicant, and then Grimoire Wise also makes an appearance in the trailer. So I wonder if he's just like there as like a companion but doesn't do anything,
Hmm.
and just adds probably like a comedic relief of him talking. Because every time he spoke in the game, I was just like, what the fuck is he talking about now? Like, come on, dude. So yeah, that was interesting. But what about their other IP?
Splinter Cell is getting a remake and it's being built from the ground up using all new assets. And it's going to use some other features from Splinter Cell games. And you can beat the game without killing a single person.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. This was just like an update because obviously we already knew the Splinter Cell was in the works. For the original Splinter Cell game was getting a remake, but it's interesting to see that they're going to implement some other features from other Splinter Cell games that came after it, along with just being able to beat this game completely without killing someone, like legitimately making this a stealth game. You can
Hmm.
go through the
And
entire
not
game
only
stealthy.
that, like Splinter Cell is one of those games that defined shooters and these sort of these stealth action games. This was one of those games that had water physics, which was crazy.
Yeah,
Like you shot a fish tank and it would slowly drain the fish tank. And when the water got lower than where you shot the tank, it stopped draining.
right, which would theoretically make sense.
Yeah, it was legit. There were physics, like some of the dumbest shit was thought about. Like, and you're like, wow, I didn't even think about adding something like that, but it just made the game feel so much more realistic, so much more polished.
Yeah,
Like nowadays, you could shoot a fish tank above where the water is, and it'd be like water everywhere, and the fish tank would still be full. And you're
right.
like, where's the water coming from? And developers are like, they don't care.
Yeah, or the whole fish tank just shatters from one
Yeah,
bullet.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
just like, wait a minute. I'm pretty sure it would just go through it, not shatter it. But whatever.
Whatever, it's just thinking about it.
But onto a shooter that we kind of touched on earlier that is has always defined the shooter genre, I guess, is Call of Duty. This is just a quick update here. Players received double XP tokens and 2 knife blueprints if you played Warzone 1. Whenever Warzone 2 launched, you got that added to your account. And but one thing that they are adding later on this month is adding a Rocket League inspired COD ball mode.
Oh my
You
God.
basically
So
hit a ball into a goal while driving ATVs, and I'm just like, it makes sense.
th
And weren't you just
this
talking
is
about
what
this
we
earlier?
need right now.
You were just talking about this, how Call of Duty is just making all of these games into one game, and now they're just like, Rocket League, come on, we're gonna throw you into the mix of all the games that we got going on here.
Yeah, honestly, like Warzone 1 had some really dumb events, but like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 seems to be the beginning of something great. Like, who
Yeah,
wanted King Kong events inside of fucking Call of Duty Warzone 1? No one. But who wants to play Rocket League in Warzone? I don't know. I do for some reason. This
yeah.
sounds silly.
Well, I don't think
And
this is
like,
gonna
there's
be.
just
I
so
don't know.
much going on.
I don't think it's gonna be a. It could be a Warzone, but I think this is just like a multiplayer mode of some
And
sorts.
even if it is, that's the fun part about it. Like, because Warzone at this point, Warzone and Modern Warfare 2, they aren't separated. They aren't inseparable. It's built in the same engine. They're built off the same game. They launch
Hmm.
from the same game. So at this point, it is Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah,
And to me, that's just funny that we're just getting so many different things. We've got a battle royale, we've got squad combat, single elim combat. We've got the full just like Battlefield experience, but better than Battlefield did it. We have a campaign, we have
yeah,
missions to just do with your friend. There's so much going on, and for them to go, yeah, let's play Rocket League.
yeah. One interesting bug that was happening this week that kind of this was pissing off a lot of people was there was a glitch where it would lock players out of Warzone 2 and then prompting them that they must buy Modern Warfare 2 to play Warzone 2. And Warzone 2 is a free experience. It is a separate
Hmm.
entity. It's a free separate download where like if you don't own Modern Warfare 2, you have to just download the Warzone 2 app and then you can play it. Um, but that was interesting. I don't know if they fixed it just yet. They have a long list of
A
issues and
long
bugs,
list.
yeah, that they're trying to work on. But that's something that they need to fix immediately because that's a free to play game, and if people can't play it because they're getting locked out behind a purchase wall, that you're going to lose a large chunk of your player base if that's happening.
Yeah. But then again, these kids are sweaty Call of Duty kids. They'll probably come right back once it's fixed.
Yes, it's fixed. Time to play.
So
um,
Vic, finish out here for the game news for the week. What has Xbox been up to for November?
Xbox got a lot going on, man. I love it, especially with their November update. They basically added a new capture app on the Xbox, so it's like separate, and you can like edit, trim, and post your clips right from the Xbox app now on the Xbox. It's its own app, but it also on the Xbox app on your phone now allows you to edit and trim right inside the app, and you can share directly to social media, which is really useful in regards to getting those clips out. Next up was the you can join Discord voice channels directly from the Xbox. I no longer have to get on my phone, join the chat, go back to the Xbox app. Then it's just they eliminated that
It's
whole
better.
thing, and I just go. It's
Yeah.
it's it's a pretty interesting interface too. Like I go to the party page, go down to Discord, click that, and then it shows all of my potential Discord video chats that I can join. And I just go, all right, I'm joining this way. Boom, I'm good, and it just works.
Yeah. And it's really nice. And honestly, that's one of the things that I was like, you have to use your phone. Okay, they probably wanted to get it out fast, not get it out right. And it
Hmm.
worked. And it worked perfectly fine on the
Yeah.
phones. People were happy with it. But now for them to do this, it's like, okay, they only continue to make things better.
Yeah, and speaking of things better, they also basically added the Xbox Series S and X noise suppression with Discord as well, along with making your wish list. Be able to send you notifications when some of those games on your wish list go on sale, which is kind of like I guess Steam because I get those updates from time to time from games that I put on my Steam wish list. They're like, "Hey, this game went on sale," and I'll get an email about it, and then that could generate a lot of sales. So it's like a no-brainer for them.
Yeah.
But one that made my day, it just makes gaming on Xbox that much better, is that you can now stream to Twitch, Lightstream, and Streamlabs using your Xbox without having to use a PC, more or less. I was like, I can set up my entire stream now. I can add backgrounds and different display overlays and whatnot, and alerts and stuff like that. Something that I could not do. I can only stream to Twitch, and that was it. Couldn't change anything. I couldn't have a starting soon kind of stream and then like a be right back kind of stream. It was either I was streaming or I was not streaming. Simple as that. But you do still have to use like your phone or something to transition from scene to scene. So there is still you have to have like some kind of device next to you to be able to do this. But that's one step in the future where I don't need a capture card. I was thinking about getting a capture card and a Series S or something or a laptop and have it next to my Xbox out there. I don't need it no more.
Yeah. And that's the potential is just so great for these things. If only we had the same sort of technology for, like even PlayStation, the streaming felt okay, but not great. But
Hmm.
this is just Microsoft again blowing PlayStation out of the water. And don't get me wrong, I'll tout PlayStation every day, but they're just losing.
They're just losing. And some more just good updates here is they're adding some new power options, so that helps out with like saving energy and whatnot. So you can choose when things update and how much power is used and all that kind of stuff. But another thing is, I actually didn't even realize that this was not a thing yet. But for Xbox Cloud Gaming, your controller vibrations were automatically turned off and they just didn't work. But now you can have a controller that vibrates when you play cloud gaming, so that's interesting.
Inky.
But some quality of life updates added some interesting stuff here. You can actually ask to join a friend, both for a game or a party. So instead of sending them an invite, you can just be like, "Hey, can I join you?" And then they'll send
Hmm.
out an invite to do that. There's also a recommended section in settings to help you quickly configure your console to the best possible settings. So for anybody who's new to the platform, they have an easy setup options there and a redesigned Xbox support app, previously called Xbox Assist, so it's more easily to navigate and whatnot, and select your options and figure out what's going on. So that's always nice for quality of life. Next up, when this news dropped here, man, I was really ecstatic because we talked about Samsung coming out with these new TVs and they're going to have the Xbox Cloud Gaming built into them, and that's the only way you can get it. Nah, they changed their mind. They're adding an app to all Samsung, well, most Samsung smart TVs coming later this month. And I was just like, I have a smart Samsung TV, and now I have it, even if I don't need it because that's where my Xbox is hooked up to. So that'll be interesting to see if I'll probably check it out just to see how it plays compared to the Xbox since it's right there. Roger, do you have a Samsung TV? I can't remember.
I have one.
So you might be able to check it out. You might be able to test it
Yeah,
yourself.
I forgot all about it being over there in the corner. I do have one down here. I have like five different TVs throughout the house. And like I got like two Roku TVs, one Samsung, another one that's like LG or something. But yeah, no, it'll be neat to actually be able to just play games right on a Samsung TV.
Right. Um, Next up here, we got some news in regards to the Series S. They have a new bundle called the Gilded Hunter Bundle, and it arrives on the 29th. This includes 9 in-game cosmetics along with a virtual currency for Fortnite, Rocket League, and Fall Guys at the same price of $299.99. But also, they are lowering the if you just want the regular bundle, nothing included for the Xbox Series S. The price has been dropped to $249.99 just for the holidays. So they did the opposite of what PlayStation did and lowered their price so consumers could get this console,
Mhm.
and then it'll go back to normal price after the holidays. So makes sense. They're going to drive sales. It's going to be the number one selling console of holidays for back-to-back years.
Yep. I That's what I'm saying. PlayStation is just losing lately. They just cannot keep up with Microsoft, who is just throwing their weight around.
Yeah, they're just doing whatever they want. And
Hmm.
in regards to that is obviously we talked about the streaming device not too long ago where like Phil Spencer had the prototype on his shelf that they actually canned right now. They put it on the back burner because they're trying to get the costs down because they want to sell this device at about 99 to 129. And it makes sense because I think about like the Apple TV or the Amazon Fire Square Cube whatever. Those are about $100. So if you want a streaming device just like that that's capable of playing your games at a higher fidelity as opposed to cloud gaming fully, you're going to need something that's decently priced to cover those
Yeah,
costs. Even though they take a hit on every sale that they do for consoles, so I
but they'll
assume
make it back on the back end with
Game
their
Pass.
with their Game Pass. Yeah.
So they're not worried about it. Halo Infinite had some interesting news this week. They are already have banned 4 million accounts due to cheating or botting in 2022. 4
Halo
million.
Infinite is still a game.
Yeah, it's
Holy.
thriving right now, man. It's thriving. With that winter update, it's generated a lot of network traffic. But 4 million accounts can Call of Duty can you please do whatever Halo Infinite's doing and ban people completely for cheating and botting?
Oh, they did go after two of the two of the
Yeah,
big cheat supplying websites. So like, at least they're doing cease and desists on the people who are openly like, come here to cheat.
yeah. So at least they're
Cheaters
doing
are
something.
us.
Next up, for speaking about Game Pass, we had some updates here. So some new perks that you get are Apple TV Plus and also Apple Music. You get 3 months just for having Game Pass Ultimate. So that's pretty cool. If you don't have those, go check those out. Some new additions. First off, we got Dune Spice Wars coming to the PC, already on the PC on the 17th, and I know you already talked about playing it. We also got Ghost Lore, which is in game preview on the PC on the 17th. Norco came to the cloud and console on the 17th. Apparently, this is a really good game. Don't really know much about it. Um, and then we got Gungrave Gore, which you talked about this one earlier, also coming to Game Pass day one on the 22nd. Insurgency Sandstorm, this is coming to cloud and console on the 29th. I think this is already on Game Pass for PC. And this was like one of those like first person shooter simulators, like
Yeah, it was
military style.
it's one of the big ones out there.
Yeah.
Insurgency Sandstorm was actually one that a bunch of my friends were playing for a while there, and it was like larger scale tactical combat and was sort of like a Battlefield, the old Battlefield Rush game mode where it was just waves of people coming at the opponents trying to push them back.
Right, right. I do. I miss playing Rush. At least they added it to Battlefield 2042. That's been fun.
Mhm.
Soccer Story came to all console, cloud, and PC on the 20 or coming to, on the 29th. And then last but not least, we got Warhammer 40K Dark Tide coming to PC on the 30th, which you can play it
Next
already now
Wednesday.
with early access or whatever it is that you can play now. But some games that are leaving on the 30th is Arkvale Deer Simulator, Final Fantasy 13-2, Mind Scanners, Mortal Shell, Space Warlord Organ Trading Simulator, Undungeon, and Warhammer 40K Battle Sector are all leaving on the 30th.
Oh
So,
shit, I gotta play Battle Sector and beat it. Oh damn.
or you can
I
just buy it. You
left
get
that on
twenty
the
percent
back
off.
burner.
You get 20% off if you want to buy it.
I ain't gonna buy it on PC, or I'm just gonna play it for free until it leaves.
Yeah. But some interesting part here, they did add touch control to 15 games this week. They added it to Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Origins. Other Ubisoft game, Immortals Phoenix Rising got it. The recently released Pentiment just got it. Scorn, Football Manager 2023, DC League of Super Pets: The Adventures of Crypto and Ace, Disney Dreamlight Valley got touch controls added. Amnesia Collection and Amnesia Rebirth both got it. Ghost Song, Opus, Echo of Star Song, Soma, You Suck at Parking, which I recently beat a couple weeks back, and Fuga, Melodies of Steel, all got touch screen support. So that's pretty cool. But that is all of our gaming news, and we only got a couple here for our gaming rumors. So, Roger, if you want to kick it off here with our first one.
Yeah, so it turns out Rockstar had a chance at making a GTA film and actually turned down a film which the star was going to be Eminem.
Yeah, and this actually made really good sense because, like, he was like the up and coming like artist at the time because this happened back during when was it 8 Mile came out,
Hmm.
and that was in 2002. Is when that came out. So that was when this Rockstar could have came out with a GTA movie, and they kind of just dropped the ball on that one. I guess they didn't have that much of anticipation with GTA, and just I also think that they didn't want to coincide a movie alongside with the idea of a GTA, like the actual crime at that time, because Grand Theft Auto had that very bad stigmatism, like issues that it had.
You got points for running over hookers and
It
people and yeah.
was
No,
bad.
we all know what it was about. People were like, GTA is the devil's work. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, what we're doing is pretty fucked up in the game. Picking up hookers in like, cars and stupid shit.
Yeah. But yeah, they basically turned it down, and Eminem just went and made one of the a cult classic movie with 8 Mile. So it was a win for him,
Their
regardless.
loss.
Yeah. But last but not least here on our news here is of course Activision Blizzard is returning here, guys. There was a report that came out from the Epic lawsuit that this is just it's not 100% legit. So
Hmm.
take this for a grain of salt here. But Google reportedly paid Activision Blizzard $360 million to stop building a rival app store. And then Activision Blizzard came out and claimed that these are false. Roger, what's your take on this?
I I don't know what to take of that. It seems like an interesting thing happening. Like, why would Google want to pay them to not make their own app store? I honestly would have expected Apple to be the one to be like, hey, whoa, 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 whoa.
You're right.
Actually, Apple would have probably just been like, nah, you can't publish it.
Right, just straight up.
Yeah,
We're
they
not
just
even
like
gonna.
block them.
Right,
You're not gonna pay you or try to bribe you. We're just gonna tell you, no, fuck off.
right, because
But
of how so locked down Apple devices are. Like it wouldn't have just been possible. Because I'm
no,
still interested
exactly.
with Activision Blizzard, or not Activision Blizzard. Xbox is still trying to come out with their app store that's supposed to rival both Apple and Google. So like, how are they going to get those on the mobile devices? Is how I'm really curious to see how that turns out to be. But that's all of our news and rumors and leaks and all that kind of stuff this week. So we want to thank everyone who did check us out live. Anyone checks us out later on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. But Roger, where can we find you at?
Hey, you guys can find me at twitch.tv/lunatic_oblivion and Twitter at lunatic oblivion without the underscore.
And of course, you could check me out at Twitter at Mr. Never Chillin underscore. Xbox is X Never Space Chillin. If you want a game party, hit me up there. Facebook is Vic Brubacher. Questions, concerns, you want to come on the show, make sure you hit me up there. And of course, I'm streaming over at my Twitch at twitch.tv/ Mr. Never Chillin. I do have a stream schedule that I will be releasing here soon. And right now, I am playing a lot of Plague Tale Requiem and Modern Warfare 2, depending on the modes. So definitely come through and check me out there. But want to thank everyone again. But until next time, peace.